I call the honourable member for Moore.
Hear, hear.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. Will the Treasurer outline the debt and deficit situation inherited by the government? What are the challenges to addressing the debt and deficit position in this parliament?
I call the honourable Treasurer, and I would remind, before the Treasurer begins his answer, I would remind those on my left that we will have some silence. The Treasurer.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I thank the member for Moore for the question and recognise that he knows, as I know and now the Australian people know, that Labor left behind deficits of $123 billion. $123 billion, and on the estimation of the Treasury, the budget would never have got to surplus under Labor. Never have got to surplus. Never. Never have got to surplus under Labor. And the only way you can repay debt is if you have a surplus. And the Labor Party's legacy is $667 billion of government debt, unless we can get the budget back to surplus. And we haven't mucked around in trying to address this. One of the first things we did was introduce legislation to repeal the mining tax and all of its associated expenditure. The Labor Party's great benchmark legacy of incompetence was the multitude of designs that were associated with the variations on the mining tax. How incompetent could you be in designing a tax that raises, on average, $20 per person over the last 3 years, $20 per person, but has $700 of expenditure over the next 4 years associated with that revenue? Only Labor could possibly introduce a new tax that leaves the budget worse off. That's the peak of incompetence, and they met it last term. And they all have to accept responsibility. So what do? We come into this parliament, we say we're getting rid of the tax, and we've got to get rid of the expenditure associated with it.
The member for Moreton.
We've got to take the hard yards, and it starts on our turf. And we made those decisions. We went to the electorate and said, we're sorry, Australia, we have to get rid of the school kids' bonus. And we said it not because there's any ideological satisfaction in that. We did it because we knew that it was unfair to burden our children with the debt of handouts to parents today, because every dollar that goes out is borrowed from our children. And the bottom line is Labor doesn't care about that. Well, we do. We care about that intergenerational debt. And the Labor Party is now opposing $20 billion of savings, $20 billion of savings that are sitting up there in the Senate. And it gets worse every day, because the longer those savings are delayed, the less opportunity to repair the budget now. Labor doesn't care about the future. They don't care about it at all. That's why they don't care about deficit and debt, and it says everything about the Labor Party.